All right, people, we are moving right along back for part four of this script training. Of course, I'm Steven Sanders. And on the last video, folks, we went through the features and benefits of our policies. We also talked about beneficiaries and how to identify who the beneficiary is and what their experiences in planning funerals have been. We also went into the three different styles of cremations and how much that normally costs, the average cost of burials as well. And so now, folks, it is time to get ready to present some prices and close the sale. But first, we want to create some urgency. We want to figure out who our buyers are and who is not, right? Because our time is valuable and we've already given them enough time if they're not going to be a person that's looking to make a decision on getting this now. All right. So if we go to our script, we're at the part where it says, so okay, Miss Mary, there are two one-time discounts that I can try and get added to your quote. But first, let me ask you, it sounds like if I'm able to find a plan that fits the price range you are looking for, it sounds like this is something that you want to take care of immediately. Is that correct? Folks, we this is an important question, and you need to make sure that you are asking it on every single presentation that you get into because we don't have the time. We got too many leads and too many clients to be talking to people who are not at the buying decision stage of their process. All right. So, and the way we are framing this is through one-time discounts. These are some discounts that I only get to offer them to you one time. So if we do it now, great. If we're not going to do it now, I won't be able to give them to you. All right. So let's say your client says yes, that is correct. Okay, good. So the first discount that I might be able to get for you is going to be a banking discount. Now, do you bank with a local bank or a credit union? Oh no, I bank with a local bank. Okay, great. I can get you a discount for that. All right. Now, folks, let's say your person says, well, I don't have no bank account. No worries. We're going to move right into the second one. So, the second one is going to be for, do you receive Social Security or disability? Oh, yeah, I get Social Security. So, speaking to the example of the person that said they don't have a bank account. So, Miss Mary, where does your Social Security check come then? Oh, mine come on one of them cards that the government give you, and the card that they're referring to, folks, is the Direct Express card. You're gonna learn from being an agent that a lot of people that receive benefits like Social Security or disability, they get them on a Direct Express card from the government, and so that's no problem, right? We are able to take those, but a debit card sale is not an advanceable sale. That is a paid as earned sale. So of course, what us veterans have decided or came up with to teach you guys is what we do. And so when I get a person that has a Direct Express card, I still want to try to get them the local bank or credit union discount. So I'm going to ask them. So, Miss Mary, now a lot of people that I have that are my clients that have that Direct Express card, sometimes they pull their money off that card and load it onto like another card, like a Chime or a Cash App or a NetSpend. Do you do that also? And the reason I'm asking that, folks, is because all of those online banks and prepaid cards that I mentioned, they do have routing numbers and account numbers associated with them. So we can get them the local bank discount still. And also, more importantly, you can get an advance still if you use that. And so you do want to kind of ask that question if you run into a person that says they don't have a bank account, but they get all their money on their card. Okay. Every once in a blue moon, you might get a person that's still getting a paper check. You know what I mean? And then I would ask them, and where do you cash your check at? Because if you got a check, you got to cash it somewhere. A lot of times, the places that they're using to cash the check issues them a prepaid card that they can actually load money to. And that prepaid card oftentimes will have a routing number and an account number. All right. So we want to try to get the the bank business first, because that's the business that actually advances us. And that's the business that also pays us full commission, because when you take a debit card or a credit card, then you take a 30% hit on your commission just for using the car already. So I'm trying to help you not get hit. Okay. All right. So let's go back here and say that Miss Mary does have a bank. She banked with a local bank. And I did ask her the second one, which says, do you receive Social Security or disability? And she says, yes, I do. I say, awesome. I can get you a discount for that too. So let me put these into the system so we can see what quotes we can get for you. All right. And then we're moving on. But let's go back and say that Miss Mary said, well, no, not immediately. Okay, well, how soon are you looking to get this taken care of? Notice the focus on the word are. How soon are you looking to get this taken care of? Because, folks, if they're just shopping around right now and they tell you, oh, it's probably going to be a couple of weeks or next month or even at the first of the year, then we want to follow the instructions on the script that says, well, no worries, Miss Mary. I don't want to lose these discounts for you. So let's do this. Let's put a pin in this for now and then set up an appointment for me to call you back when you are at the decision making stage, because once I put these discounts on here for you, I can't get them back. All right. And the thing about that, folks, that I don't want you to feel like you're pressuring them or anything like that, but because this is true. Okay. The price of life insurance is only good for the day that you give them the quote. Let me repeat that. The price of the insurance is only good for it's only guaranteed for the day that you give them the quote, because you can't guarantee what their health situation is going to be like the next time you talk to them. She might say, oh, well, I'm going to get it done. You just give me 3 weeks. I'll be ready. Well, the thing is, I don't want to lose these discounts for you. So let's do this. Let's put a pin in this, and I can call you back when I get closer to that time period. Because once I put these discounts in here, I can't get them back. And the reason why is because, folks, if we don't submit this application fully completed with payment information and everything, then something changes in Mrs. Mary's health situation. Say she got a doctor's appointment next week, and when they put the little stethoscope on her chest, her heart beating funny, and he put her on Eliquis. But now she was getting super preferred when you first talked to her. Is she super preferred now? Absolutely not. She's standard. So the price is different. Sometimes the change could make them modified. So not only is the price different, but now she got to return the premium period time. So we can't guarantee the quote past the time that we're talking to them. So that's why we're asking, how soon are you looking to get this taken care of? And if they say anything longer than 10 to 14 days, then you need to schedule an appointment to call them back. We have to stop getting ourselves caught up into pushing these policies out so far. Right? And the thing is, if when you ask the question that says, if I'm able to find a plan that fits the price range that you're looking for, it sounds like this is something that you want to take care of immediately. Is that correct? If they say yes to that now, and then later on down the road, they tell you that they can't do it until next month, then they was either lying then or they lying now. One or the other, right? So we have to be assertive enough. We have to be the authority enough of our phone calls to run this presentation the way that you run it. You're the life insurance agent. You don't let the client run the conversation. You run the conversation. Okay. So let's say that they'd say, oh, well, I get my check Friday, so I can do it Friday. Well, we're going to keep on going. Or if it's anything in that 10-day period, then I'm going to probably keep on going, because in my mind, I know I can still complete this application, get the banking information, set it up, and I'll just set it up to start 10 days from now. or 7 days from now. But the only way that I can even post date this payment to start later on is if we go ahead and submit the application today. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose the discounts. So you kind of have to you kind of, you'll hear our leaders say that this is a Disney production oftentimes. And you kind of got to get into character when you're in this space. You kind of got to be invested in the fact that, hey, I don't know what's going to happen with you. So if we don't do this today, and you know that you can't do it today, you can't even submit the application today to see if we can get you approved, then we might as well stop because we really ain't going nowhere. I'm really not doing you no good because next week I don't know if or next month I don't know if it's gonna be the same. Right? So, all right. So now let's say in the situation that Miss Mary said that she's looking to take care of it immediately. She got qualified for the discounts. And so now let's put these in the system so we can see what quotes we can get for you. Now we're going to build some more urgency. So I've submitted all of your information for processing, and I will have those quotes for you shortly. Now, Miss Mary, how long have you been thinking about getting a policy? Now, of course, this is if Miss Mary does not have any insurance. It's going to be how long have you been thinking about getting a policy? If Miss Mary already has insurance and she's just increasing her coverage, it's going to be, so Miss Mary, how long have you been thinking about adding on to your coverage? Or if in your conversation with Miss Mary before now, she tells you that she's going to leave this money behind for her grandson. So, Miss Mary, how long have you been thinking about leaving something behind for your grandson? Whatever it is that this situation fits into, you want to ask them how long have they been thinking about doing this. And folks, none of these questions should you be skipping. You should be doing all of these questions because these are the questions that are going to help you overcome potential objections that you might run into later on. Okay. Because every sale is not a lay me down. Sometimes you got to work for it. Sometimes you got to sell it, right? And that sometimes requires overcoming objections. And of course, we'll get to that a little bit later on. Now, there's a red instruction there that says that remember, if they already have coverage, use the fact that other companies will take 4 to 6 weeks to pay out to still ask the tough question. And the tough question is coming up in a moment. But before we get there, the next question is, has anyone ever denied you coverage? Folks, you want to know if somebody else has denied them coverage because if you've been denied other places and I know that I can get you qualified, then I should not take any of your objections on why you should not do this at the end of this phone call. You've been being denied. I can get you covered. What are we talking about, right? We need to get this done and put in place. So now I have a tough question for you, Miss Mary, but it's a necessary question. And make sure you take note of the instruction that says now your tone needs to drop to a soft, low voice. So, God forbid, if you died unexpectedly tonight, how would Daniel pay for your final arrangements? Notice that my voice tone is dropped. I'm concerned. And also notice that I personalized this to not just say your family, but to say Daniel, because I uncovered earlier that Daniel gonna be her beneficiary. So I want to know what Daniel would do in this situation, because Daniel is who she's tied to. Sometimes the word family just don't make the connection. But by using Daniel's name, how would Daniel pay for your final arrangements? And when I ask that, I got to be quiet. I don't need to make no I don't need to make no suggestions or nothing. Just be quiet and let her answer. Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I guess he'll have to figure out how to come up with the money. And how does that make you feel, Miss Mary? Well, I don't like it. That's why I'm talking to you now, because I want to try to get me something in place so he don't have to do that. I understand. I understand. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being very important, how important is it for you to get this taken care of today so that you don't have to worry about feeling like that no more and you don't have to leave that burden behind on Daniel? It's a 10. Folks, notice that the tone of my voice stayed the same through all of those questions because they all tied. I want to know, how would your family pay for your final arrangements if you die unexpectedly? I want to know, if they don't have a locked up, a guaranteed way of doing that. I want to know how that feels to you. Even if they got the money in the bank, then I want to know, how does it feel that you're gonna take all their money that they done saved up out of their money, and that you're gonna take all their money they got saved up to use it to pay for your funeral? How does that make you feel? Right? And then I want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, once I know how you feel, then how important is it for you to get this taken care of today so that you don't have to feel like that no more, and you don't have to leave this burden behind on your family? Because, folks, listen to what you are doing. I hope that you've been paying attention, because what you have done in the last two sections has basically sold up this sale if you do it right, right? And let me show you what I mean by that, because we just asked them, if I'm able to find a plan that fits the price range that you're looking for, it sounds like this is something that you want to take care of immediately. Is that correct? In order for you to move on, they either say yes to right now or yes to within the next 10 days. That's the only way we should be moving on, right? And so now we've got them to say yes. Then we got them to say they've been thinking about doing this for however long, years, months, whatever. Then we got them to say that if they die unexpectedly, their family would be in a situation. Either they don't have the money, they're gonna take all their money, they're gonna have to do a GoFundMe, whatever the situation is, it's gonna be a not a pleasant situation. And we found out that don't make them feel good. They pretty uncomfortable about that. And then we've got them to say that it was a 10. It is very important for them to get this taken care of today so that they don't have to feel like that no more, and that the burden is off of their family. So you know what that means to me, and what it should mean to you, is that as long as I get this price right, this is a sale. The only thing at this point right now that could mess this up is if I mess up the price. And you know what? Steven Sanders ain't gonna let you do that. So we're gonna move forward, because now we're gonna talk about the budget. Okay. So the script says, okay, great. So Miss Mary, let's see what we can do to help you. And so now we're moving on to the next part here, where it says, now, most of my clients are on fixed incomes, Social Security, disability, retirement. And so what I do is I try to customize these quotes to fit your budget, because I want you to be able to keep the policy. I don't want you stretching yourself to get this policy and then end up having to cancel it in a few months. Now, here's the thing, Miss Mary, you know your budget better than I do. So when it comes to getting this policy to make sure that your family isn't left with a burden, then what kind of range do we need to be in as far as your monthly payment is concerned? Do we need to be in the $50 to $75 range? Do we need to be between 75 and 100? Or if I can get you a good amount of coverage, can we go over 100 a little bit? Folks, let's talk about this, okay? So first things first, we're recognizing that you're on a fixed income. Most of my clients are. So that means that I can help you. I know you might be thinking in your head, well, I'm on a fixed income. You're gonna have to work with me. Hey, everybody I deal with on fixed incomes. I already know. That's why I'm trying to customize these quotes so that they can fit into your budget. Then I'm letting them know what kind of person and agent I am, because I want you to keep the policy. I don't want you stretching yourself to get this policy and then end up having to cancel it down the road, because that's just wasting money, Miss Mary. But the thing is that you know your budget better than I do. So when it comes to getting this insurance to make sure that we're not leaving Daniel in a bind, in a burden, out here begging for money, then what kind of range do we need to be in as far as the monthly payment is concerned? And the good thing is that we're going to give them the ranges. Now, the thing for you as the agent, the new agent or the seasoned agent, is to make sure that when you ask questions in this presentation, you get answers. We don't let people just ignore or sidestep our questions. No, this is my presentation. You just in it, right? So sometimes you're gonna find the people that say, well, I don't know for real. I just want to know, like it depends on how much it is how much 10,000 costs. No problem. I can definitely show you the 10,000. But as far as the monthly payment is concerned, do you want to be between 50 and 75, 75 or 100, or can we go over 100 a little bit? Well, that's what I'm saying. It just depends on how much the 10,000 is. And that's what I'm saying to you. I don't want to show you nothing that's more than what you want to pay. So is the limit 75? Is the limit 100? So I can show you what's in your limit, right? Because what we're doing by, even if we have to repeat it, what we're doing is we're establishing our ground. I ain't budging, Miss Mary. You're going to tell me something or we're going to sit here at an impasse, right? Or, because I know some of y'all might be saying, I can't do that. I don't, I ain't comfortable with that. Well, I'm going to give you a cheap way out, okay? Blame it. When in doubt, blame it on the computer. So, Miss Mary, the computer got 3 ranges on the screen. It got the 50 to 75 range, the 75 to 100 range, and then the 100 plus range. And I won't be able to see the quotes until I push a range. So, which range you want me to push? If you can't do it the other way, then do it that way. But either way, we're going to get a range out of Miss Mary today, right? Because you want to make sure, remember what we just identified. We just identified that if we get this price right, this should be a sale. So I don't want to go into the price blind. I want you to tell me what range is the right price so I can get it right so I can get the sale. All right. So, folks, that is going to conclude the part 4 video here. And again, just to recap what we did, we created a sense of urgency by finding out if this was a decision they were looking to make to immediately to take care of immediately. Then we followed that up by figuring out the discounts. Do they have a bank or a credit union? Do they get their money from Social Security or disability or retirement? All of those things are important because when you're writing insurance, you want to make sure that your client has a bank account if possible, and most importantly, they have a reliable source of income. You do not want to be out here writing policies on people who they got to guess how they're gonna make the payment every month. That's a chargeback waiting to happen, and we're trying to protect persistency for you and this agency. Okay. Then we also learned about how to ask questions about how long you've been thinking about it. You know what I mean? Has anybody ever denied you? A tough question of what's going to happen if you don't get this insurance, you die unexpectedly, what kind of situation your folks going to be in? How does that make you feel? So how important is it for us to do this now? And then we came back and we let them know that, hey, I'm on your side. I want to make sure this works for you. So what's the monthly payment range that we need to stay in for this to work for you? All right. And so we'll move on to price presentation next, but that will conclude the video for this section right here. So I will see you guys later.